Hey guys, welcome back to A Little Bit of Monica. I am beyond excited to share with you something that I've been working on for the last 4 or 5 months that I have been putting together and truly refining until I've gotten to the point where I am where I think it's ready to go and ready to fill out for myself. I am talking about my 2025 reading journal, and for this upcoming year, I decided to switch things up a little bit. Last year, I had a physical page flipping reading journal, and I really liked setting it up. I loved designing the pages, and I liked filling it out for about half the year, and then I fizzled out over the summer, and I just kind of stopped keeping up with it. And I think part of the problem for me was, as much fun as I had doing it, every time that I wanted to update my journal, I felt like I needed to have everything out. I needed to have pens and pencils and highlighters and markers and a ruler and all of these different things that just made the process of updating it, even for small things, it made it feel like such a huge production. And one of the things that I really want to focus on is making things easier for myself in the new year, not overcomplicating things. And I think I overcomplicated my reading journal by making it hard to keep up with it a little bit at a time. So for this new year, I decided to try out making a digital reading journal, and I already feel like I am going to keep up with this pretty regularly because when I started building my New Year's journal, I also created a version that was going to be kind of for the rest of 2024 so that I could trial it for myself and figure out if I liked building the journal the way that I did and if I liked filling it out as I went. And I have good news. And it is that I really like what I've already built, which means I'm going to like it in the new year, and that makes me even more excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a walkthrough of my digital reading journal. I created everything on Canva. I do have a Canva Pro account, so a lot of the features come from that, but I created everything from scratch using shapes and the elements that are available there, images, backgrounds, things like that are available through Canva, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to the measurements and getting things centered, and it took a long time to get everything exactly laid out the way I wanted, but I'm so happy with the finished product. And by finished, I mean, it's finished for now, but as I go, I am definitely going to be making changes. And one of the things that I'm most excited about having a digital journal is that I can add pages here and there. And it doesn't mean that I mess up the flow of the journal. It doesn't mean that I have to glue one or tape one in like I had to do with my physical journal when I was adding things in later on. So with the digital one, it's so easy to just think of something later in the year and add it as a page, and suddenly it works, it's there. So I'm really excited for that. So without further ado, I am going to give you a full walkthrough of all of the pages that I've created for my 2025 reading journal. Welcome to my 2025 reading journal. I really wanted the front of it to kind of resemble a regular journal, so I created this fun little cover page, and we are going to move right into the contents page. Now, when you are using Canva on a desktop or laptop, when you click on any of these items on the contents page, it will take you to that exact page. On the app, like I am using right now to scroll through, if I click it, it will just try to make me change the text. So I don't want to do that, but if you click on these in the actual document on the computer, it will take you to the right page. It has 55 total pages, which I will go through and show you each and every single one of them as we go. But this is a really fun one just to help collect everything in case I need to go to a specific page. Starting off with the first page of actual journal content, I have my goals and aspirations page. This one is very standard for a lot of reading journals, just letting me outline all of my different goals for the year. Starting off at the top, my YouTube goals, things that I want to accomplish for 2025 on my YouTube channel, Instagram the same way. Those are the two that I am really trying to grow the most, so that's why they are at the top. I also did include TikTok on here because I do have some hopes of continuing growing on TikTok, although that one is a little bit of a slower reach for me. And then the other priorities that I have for the year fall into my NetGalley goals, as I am constantly trying to turn around the ARCs that I have and keep my ratio up on there, and then my personal goal spot. And these ones are for my regular reading goals and anything else that I want to accomplish during the year. So I broke it up this way because this is what works best for me, but I know with other people who have different priorities on different social medias, that is going to change what kinds of things you include in your journal, but this is what I have for my goals and aspirations page, and I'm very excited to be able to fill it out. Next up, the next page is my social media tracker. So I had briefly mentioned that YouTube and Instagram are the two that I want to focus on the most. So for 2025, I have included a page that is strictly to track my YouTube and Instagram subscribers and followers, and this is going to help feed into the goals that I created on the last page. So for this page, basically what I'm going to do on the first day of every month, I will record where my subscriber and follower counts are, and then I can track how that goes throughout the entire year from month to month. And then all the way at the bottom, I have my year-end totals that I can keep track of. So that is a pretty straightforward kind of page that is very easy to tell how I'm going to be tracking it. The next page is my top books by month. Now, this one I did not do in my physical journal last year, but I decided to add it for this upcoming year because I really like being able to look back on the year and reflect on the books that I've loved, but sometimes it is really hard to remember some of the books that I read all the way at the beginning of the year. So I felt like this was a fun way to just keep track of my favorite book for each month as I go, and hopefully making my end of the year wrap up a little bit easier. But speaking of keeping track of all the books that I've read, but this page is where I'm going to click and drag each of the book covers from every book that I read during the year. Now, this page is the one that's probably going to be the most chaotic, but if I fill this out even on a weekly or monthly basis, it will be quite manageable. And what I've done here is I have included each box here. I have it slightly colored differently so that I can see that it's a little bit different. But what this is it's actually one of the image frames. So I went into Canva here over to the elements page and I clicked a frame, and then I shaped the frame to fit in to this shape. Then I can click and drag book covers in and it will fit into that exact shape that I have. That's one of my favorite elements that I have, and one of the reasons why I love Canva so much over other apps, because I can do that quick click and drag, and it makes putting the book covers in so fun and easy. Next up, we have one of the first really in-depth trackers that I started doing this year, and it was kind of difficult. So I'm excited to keep going, and doing it digitally I think is going to help a lot. This is one of those ones that once you get behind, it's really hard to catch up. But the format tracker. So the way that I'm going to do this is basically I can just click on this box and I can duplicate it, and then I can click and drag it into the spot for each and every book that I do. And then I can see how the boxes expand as I go up, so I can keep track of the formats that I'm using. Now, I tend to do audio along with either physical or ebook. That is the most common format that I'm reading, so I am going to do boxes for both. So if I read a book physically and audio at the same time, I will be doing 2 boxes. So this is going to not necessarily equal the exact number of books that I read, because some of them are going to have more than one square. But this is to help me visualize exactly how I am reading these different formats. And I have another one down here that I am equally excited to be able to track, and this is my genre tracker. Another one that's really easy to get behind. If you don't keep up with it, you will probably not want to keep up with it after a while. But I love seeing the genres that I'm reading, because I do find that I love reading a variety. Now, I will say that I am more than likely going to be reading romance, fantasy, romantasy, or horror. However, the other genres are on here just in case. And just like before, all I have to do is click the little box, hit the little duplicate button, and click and drag it into place over top of the other squares on the chart, and then I can build it from there. Makes it super easy to duplicate. I don't have to be coloring things in physically, and I can just duplicate the boxes. I don't have to redraw it every single time. So I'm really excited to be able to use my genre tracker here. Next up is the NetGalley tracker, and this one is going directly hand in hand with one of my goals for this year, which will be about keeping up with my NetGalley art. So this way, every time I get a new arc, I can just add it in here as a text box, fill out the information like title, author, when I received the arc, and when I reviewed the arc. This is going to help me keep up with actually turning them around quickly. Then I also have this rating box, and basically what I did is I made these little gold stars up here to be the exact same size, that all I have to do is duplicate the gold star and drag it over top of the outlined one over here, and then I can also show what my ratings were for each book. And then this little check mark here is to make sure that I have posted it on any retail sites that I need to, and cross-posted it to different places. So that check mark is just a personal tracker for me so that I remember what I'm doing with my reviews. Next up is a personal favorite from this past year. This was just one that I came up with on the fly, and I did draw it into my physical journal, and it was so fun that I decided to put it in my digital one as well. My DNF graveyard. DNFing is sad sometimes because you don't want to have to DNF a book. However, I do still want to be able to track those, especially because they don't count towards my reading goal unless I read them past 50%. So what I did here, these are, again, another frame. So all I have to do is click and drag a book cover into that little box, and it will show the book cover on the headstone, and then I can just put the date that I DNF'd it underneath it. And that's pretty much how this is. It's a pretty bare bones kind of design, and I may change some of the pictures and things, but for now I am really happy with the general overlay of what this looks like. And this is another one of those pages. The NetGalley one and the DNF Graveyard will be duplicated as I go and when I need to fill in more, because I am certain I'll probably DNF more than 6 books, but that's all I wanted to fit on one page. Next up, this is going to be utilized at the end of the year, but my top 5s by genre. Now, I read so many different genres, and I love so many books in different genres that I decided to do a top 5 in each one, just so I can help kind of spread the love a little bit more. And so what I've done here is created bookshelves that I can put the book title of each of the top 5 books for the year. Obviously, I'm not going to be building this until I have read enough books for the year to know which books I want to put in it. This one is another one that's going to really come into play at the end of the year, the Tournament of Books. This is to help me come up with my very favorite book of the year, because it is so hard to come up with exactly which book I think is my favorite. So this way I can narrow it down to the top 16, narrowing it down each time like a tournament bracket until I get to my top book. So this is going to be really helpful for me, and I am going to be using this very soon to figure out my top book of 2024 as well. So I have this planned for 2025. And then finally I have the book awards page, and this one is kind of like the participation award, but it's for books that stand out in different ways, but not necessarily a favorite book of the year. And this is specifically so that I can name them their own awards, like creepiest book or longest book, things like that. And I can put the title inside of the little banner here. Again, this is the frame where I can click and drag a photo so that it sits there for the book cover. And then I can just have a spot for different superlatives. Like I said, probably going to have shortest or longest book and most entertaining, might have spiciest book, just things like that don't necessarily mean that it was my favorite book of the year, but that it stands out in some way that I want to appreciate on this page. And then I did create one additional book quotes page. This one is definitely going to be built and designed as I go, because I don't necessarily pick out favorite quotes as I'm reading unless I am actually annotating a book. However, if a quote does stand out, I have this page here dedicated that I can just type the text in, copy it over, and then have it, and I can build it into some design later, maybe put it inside of an image that is representative of the book or the scene. And so this one's going to be very much personalized as I go, but I wanted to set this aside and have the page there. But now that we have gone through all of my annual stuff, the next selection of pages, and it is literally the rest of the journal, is going to be all of my monthly planners. And I went every single month and created kind of thematic backgrounds and things with colors to kind of keep this fun and festive. So here I have my January one with a fun snowy background, and I've created sections on here for my video planning and my TBR. Now, these ones are to mostly be using before the month starts so that I can be planning my videos for the month. I can know exactly what I'm getting into and keep that consistency. That is going to be one of my goals, fun fact. But my TBR as well, just so if there are book clubs that I'm keeping up with or read-alongs that I'm keeping up with, or I have deadlines for arcs, things like that I can throw onto my list here. And then down at the bottom here, I do have a calendar. So this is a fun way that I can either write in certain books when they come out, if there's a release date in that month, or if I have a goal of getting a video out on a certain day, or if there are book events, I go to book signings and things like that I can put onto my calendar as well. And then over here on the side, I have my events tab. So that is to help me keep track of the things that I'm doing each month so that I don't forget about events, so that I can get excited for them, include them in my videos, and plan for vlogs like that. So that is kind of the general layout. And then for each page, and this was just because I'm terrible at deciding and I liked doing the design on both, I decided to make both a colored background version and a white background version of basically every single month. So this is how I designed my January one. And then I also have a reading wrap-up page, and these are, again, the book covers can just be dragged in to create the frame version of them. And I have this set up so that I can drag in every single book that I read during January. It's a nice, quick and easy way to go back and look at all of the books that I've read during the month. And then I have created one blank page for every month as well. And this is to help me decide later on if I do want to do like in a traditional book journal, how you can do like a monthly spread that's themed after the books that you read, or if you're doing a readathon and you want to specially design something. I left this page open for that so that I can go in and add readathon themed images or ideas, or again, just anything else I want to add. I have it here and I have the page dedicated for it. But doing a digital journal is so easy to just add an extra page if you have something else that you want to throw in. So that makes it super easy. Now, all of these months are going to be set up the exact same way. We're just going to go quickly back here to the overall page view so you can see all of the pages I created. It is a lot, but this has been such a long process of building and redesigning and redoing colors for, but it has been so much fun, and I'm really proud of especially the first half of this journal. All of the stats that I'm going to be tracking is going to be a lot of fun, but I am so happy with the finished product. I cannot wait to get in and be able to start using everything, filling out these pages. It's going to be so much fun, and to know that I spent so much time doing it and then be able to kind of utilize the thing that I created is a lot of fun. So here we go. This is the full journal, and I am very excited for the new year to come so I can get right into using it. So there you have it. My 2025 reading journal is complete, at least for now, and I am so proud of the finished product here. It really took months and months of me building things and then going back and changing everything and redoing pages here and there and really trying to build this into something that I am going to use each feature of, and something that really is tailored to the reading and the stats that I like to have. But that brings me to the end of my video. I want to thank you for watching this video and invite you to leave comments if you have anything to share, anything you liked about the journal that you want to incorporate into your own. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I am very excited to be able to use this, and if you end up using a digital journal in the new year, I'd love to hear that as well. I want to thank you so much for watching this video and for supporting me. I appreciate every second that you spend watching my videos or supporting me in any way. And if you liked what you saw here and you want to keep seeing more from me, I invite you to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of the future videos that I have coming, especially with the new year right around the corner. I am beyond excited for everything that's going to be coming. So I want to thank you for being here now, and I hope that I will see you in the next video. Bye!